This is the story of a man who loved Ghana with all his soul, a man of numbers and of faith, of vision and of laughter, and of quiet, stubborn, unshakable integrity. His name was Erasmus Alexander Kobla Kalitsi, but most people just called him Efo. He was born in 1930 in the watery cradle of Anyako, a child of the Agudogos and the Kalitsi railwaymen, a mother who prayed and sang, a father who worked the rails, a little boy who once lost a finger trying to understand how a corn mill worked. Curiosity never left him.
I was told that when Mr. Kalitsi was a kid, he was sent to go and grind corn. Then, being curious, he put his hand into the machine, and the machine unfortunately cut 2 of his fingers. Based on that, my dad picked him from the mother, that's the sister Matilda Agudogo, and sent him to stay with him in Widiba.
Zion College gave him wings. The University College of the Gold Coast gave him flight, one of only 50 full scholars nationwide.
My father decided to send me to a secondary school. I was then in Form 1 or Form 2. The school was not called Zion College at the time. It was called New Africa University College. That school was the first secondary school in the whole of what is today Volta region.
Then my father was a police officer, so he stayed with him for a while. Then when he was about entering secondary school, he moved from my father's place to Zion College, Anglogan.
I stayed in that school until I did my school certificate.
He is one of the key people who helped us all students to rewrite the name of the school as Zion College as we have it now, because at the time it was even Zion Secondary School. Apart from that, he has done so many things for the school in the sense that he doesn't do all of them through the Old Student Association. Anytime he visited home, which is way Jelikope, he would visit the school. If there is anything to fix, he will fix it.
When you mention Zion College, I don't know what Zion College does to him. The moment you mention Zion College, everything he will do for you. I remember one time we were raising funds and I was sent to him in his office. I didn't even finish saying what I was saying. He just pulled his portfolio, put it on the table, took out his checkbook, gave us a very handsome amount for the work of Zion College.
And it was just about the same time that the University of Ghana was established. I think it was established in 47, and I did my school certificate in 48. From Angloga, I moved to Legon. Now, it wasn't straight like that. From Angloga, we had to take special examinations to be admitted to the university. I think about 40 of us or so were selected out of those of us who sat the examination at the education department in Accra. And we got scholarships or government financing to enter the university.
Young Kalitsi stood out for his mind and his manners. And then Harvard, a big leap, but he made that leap with the same quiet confidence he would carry all his life.
When he wanted to go to Harvard, in Nkrumah's time, people wrote to Kwame Nkrumah that they shouldn't let Kwabla go. Then he asked them why. He said Kwabla is too critical. So Nkrumah wrote in his own hand a letter which he gave it to me to read. And that letter, Nkrumah said people have told him, advised him not to take him, but he's the sort of people he wants to go outside to train. So that, because if you go there, you are not, Nkrumah said he didn't want people who go there and take everything the white people tell him, you hook, line and sinker. That is the word Nkrumah used. So Kalitsi was somebody who was very, very critical. He used to ask questions.
Before the dam, before the electricity, before the accolades, he was simply Nana DC, civil servant, magistrate, justice seeker. He traveled the country on dusty roads, exposing corrupt court clerks, fighting cocoa smuggling, and refusing bribes that others might have taken. He once said, "I was young, but I wasn't foolish."
I was recruited into the civil service as an administrative officer.
Okay.
Appointed as an assistant district commissioner.
Very interesting.
That's a colonial position, colonial district commissioner. My first posting was in Accra, then Qatar.
When he finished Legon, where he did economics, he was posted to Qatar as a government agent or district commissioner. And we were very excited. We went to him over the weekends and he took us in his car. We went around. He pampered us very, very much, you know.
Then I was in Sugankope. I was in charge of the Sugankope district when we got independence. From Sugankope, I was posted to Kumasi, again as an assistant in Kumasi as an assistant government agent. Now, incidentally, after independence, the title district commissioner was changed to government agent.
Government agent?
Yeah,
Okay.
government agent. So in Kumasi, I was an assistant government agent.
But duties were the same?
The duties were the same.
Okay.
It was the same colonial district commissioner. Then from Kumasi, I moved to Gosu as government agent in charge of Gosu.
Wow.
Then from Gosu, I moved to Sunyani as government agent in charge of Sunyani. As government agent, you were responsible for the local authorities. Local authorities existed at that. Today we don't have local authorities, but local authorities with local assemblies existed in those days. As a magistrate, you sentenced people, but as a magistrate you perform judicial duties and you supervise local courts.
Wow.
And you work as as supervisor of the country's local authorities, which means that all the roads connecting one place to another, all development work of local authorities, you would be available to inspect them and supervise whatever would be going on, disciplining people. You were at the same time, you had other duties like registrar of marriages. You were a licensing authority for several functions.
And then came the call, a bigger mission, the Volta River Project, Africa's grandest industrial dream. It wasn't just about concrete and turbines. It was about nationhood. And Kalitsi was there, not as an engineer, but the man who made the money work and made the people whole. He resettled 80,000 souls, 700 villages, 15 languages, one massive lake. His genius wasn't in equations. It was in coordination, compassion, and courage.
I was working on the Volta project
in the Development Commission.
Right.
When the Volta Secretariat was established. And I moved with my files, and a number of senior officers were appointed to constitute the Volta River Project Secretariat. And it was that secretariat which was converted into the Volta River Authority.
Mr. Kalitsi, so far as I know, was one of the first people to join VRA. He went there even before they called the place Volta River Authority.
As far as the Volta River Project is concerned, I've played all kinds of roles.
Okay.
He was one of the very first employees dealing with the resettlement and engaging the communities and making the arrangements for them to accept to be resettled.
He was going to resettlement sites, how to resettle the villages because of the water that was coming.
This is someone who, you know, when VRA was a project, not a company, a project, he was there. You know, and he was involved in paying the people who lost land as a result of the dam. You know, so right from the beginning.
Then I became a finance director, and then also in '71 I became a deputy chief executive with responsibility for everything non-engineering. I was again appointed chief executive of the Volta River Authority. And then from there, I became chairman of the VRA board when I retired as chief executive.
He's seen VRA through all the phases that a company goes through.
From dusty districts to power plants, from village courts to global energy deals, Mr. Kalitsi now sat at the very top of Ghana's energy future. As MD of ECG and later CEO and board chair of VRA, he helped modernize, expand, and help connect Ghana to the region. They say you can judge a leader by how he treats his staff. This one gave them housing, built guest houses, and knew the name of the electrician's wife. And when he stepped down, he left Ghana's energy sector stronger than he found it.
This is a man who, in the energy sector, has been very instrumental in building. I mean, we turn on the light and we just assume the light comes on. It is very rare that you have him be the chairman, chief executive of VRA, and then he actually was the MD of ECG at some point in his career as well.
When Mr. Kalitsi joined ECG at that time, we were having a project known as the Fifth Power Project. That was a project to change most of the network in Accra and Kumasi. Through the Fifth Power, we were able to build some capacity, able to change some cables in Accra Central. Some of the cables have been there for about 45 years. But what did Mr. Kalitsi bring to ECG? Apart from the technical and what aspect. First, when he joined ECG, he saw that in terms of procedure and policy, there were a lot of things lacking. For example, if somebody wanted to apply for accountable interest, there was no form. Claim form, nothing was there. So he quickly made us adopt one. Fortunately, he had written a policy manual for VRA already. So we were able to adapt whatever it was in VRA to what is. So today, if you go to ECG, there's a green and a black and white form. Those forms were developed by Mr. Kalitsi. At the time, even if somebody wanted a salary advance, it was left to the manager's discretion. But Kalitsi said, no, there must be a policy. So we started developing policies and whatnot. The budget, the way it was prepared, was not the best. Kalitsi introduced innovations to that, and with that one, he did the budget in such a way that it became a standard. So that some of the big companies in Ghana even started asking for the ECG model to do a budget.
He was instrumental in the extension of electricity to the other countries, to Togo, Benin, and then also to Cote d'Ivoire, to the extent that he was actually knighted. He was given an order by the republics of Togo and I think Benin. So he was very much instrumental in that. And what we were looking at was extending it further, like creating West Africa grid through which Ghana would be center. And then we would sell electricity to Togo, Benin, to Burkina Faso, to Mali. So he set up a little team. And again, I was part of that team. He was more than a chief executive to me. Even when he was on the board, he was very much interested in my professional growth and always checking up on me as the board chairman. I mean, for me, most of the things I sort of did in VRA was, I'll think along those lines, like what would Kalitsi do if he was faced with such a situation?
The reason why I know I like him a lot is one day we were in the office around 10-11. Then light went off, and they said system collapse. That means the whole Ghana. So we were there. Lawrence called from Castle. Then I used to receive calls for him in the evening when the secretary goes home. So I received the call and I told him that it's Lawrence. So I gave it to him. Then they asked him, what's the problem? So system collapsed. So the engineers are working on it. Then he put it down. Later, about 3 minutes time, people started calling. Then he said, let's go, let's close and go home. So we have to go through the stairs. And that day, I was not the chief executive, but that day, all my knees were, I can't descend the steps very well. I have to hold something. But the old man stand firm, walked down, we sat down and went home. That day, I said, oh, this old man is a strong man. Even me, I feel for him, but he doesn't mind anything.
But to us, he wasn't a chairman or a director. He was Grandpa, Papa Kalitsi, the one who made every story end in a proverb, the one who asked, have you done your reading?
When I was 4 years old, I always remember, Grandpa coming towards our old house and Candace and Selim's old house, and him just being this whimsical old man. And once we got to Ghana and we always come over here, I kind of knew that, Grandpa was no ordinary man. He had, to me, these set of superpowers of worth ethic and working hard. And I've learned that over time when I got to learn more about him as I grew up.
My father-in-law was the anchor of the whole clan or even house. And he was a very virtuous and smart and loving person. And he all taught us in a quiet and humble way how to give back, how to do things not just for self-interest, but for other people. When we did things that were not basically up to his standard or things that were not kind, he also had a way of just speaking to us in a way that would just enlighten us and show us the path that we should go on, a better path that was more loving or kinder or helping people who needed help or just listening to somebody who was giving us, wisdom and guidance.
After service, I came to visit him and then I was telling him, oh, Grandpa, I want to work here, so a few recommendations here and there, and then we are good to go. And then he told me something that I kept, and then when I did it too, yes, it worked. He told me that just apply. If you are competent, you'll be called. So I was like, oh, that's nice. And initially I was, why will he tell me that when you can just place a call and then everything will be fine? But then I thought about it again and I was like, yes, I'm competent. So I should just send my CV and application letter, and then I did that and I got the job. I told him about it and he was very happy for me because it was the same place he had retired from, VRA.
When I was a child, he was always very present. He came whenever he could. He loved taking us to museums. He loved sitting and reading with us. He was really involved with our lives even when he was abroad. He would check in on us with school. That's kind of one of my favorite memories of him, is just how present he was in general and how much he genuinely cared about everything that we were doing. There was never something that was too small or insignificant that you could tell him. Everything was always a priority. And I think that's one of the things that I'll miss the most. I always feel really honored that he is my grandpa. When you look around at just how many people he has touched and how many people claim him as their best friend, a mentor, a teacher, all these very amazing things. I am really honored that I get to have this very special connection to him through being his granddaughter that very few people can say that they have. And he's always just been such an incredible source of strength. He never missed a birthday. He was always so attentive and loving and caring, and I will really struggle to kind of move on beyond just the memories and the pictures and things of him. I think not having that connection to him here anymore will be the hardest part.
From what I've been hearing, a lot of folks think of Mr. Kalitsi as Chief. I've heard him called the legend. He's uncle. I'm very fortunate to know him as Daddy. When I first met Daddy, I'll never forget, he summons me down to the JW Marriott Hotel in Washington, D.C. because he wanted to see who this American girl that Kwaku has taken up life with in the U.S. So I met him at the hotel, we had lunch, and you know, as Daddy always does, he wants to know about your background, who's your family, what do they do, who are they? And we spoke about things like my political affiliation, which at that time, I was so young, I haven't really even given any consideration to. And when I left that meeting, I was not sure how he viewed me because I was this young, naive girl. But Daddy and I had this love affair for one another. I did not realize that that meeting would be the beginning of the love that we have for one another. It wasn't a father-in-law type love, it was a true daddy love. And when he started coming to the U.S. and spending time, and it was really after Selim was born, the only grandson, so he started spending more time in the U.S. and he would stay with us, and we got to know each other on a personal basis. And he became a part of our family, the Richardson family, and the Richardson family became a part of the Kalitsi family. And at that time, you know, Daddy said to me, I realized that Kwaku didn't marry an American girl, he married a family.
He made sure I had the best education, and I remember just after secondary school, he insisted, as I was awaiting my results, my WASI result, he asked I go to a secretarial school whilst I await my result. During those periods, he made sure he engaged me anytime he needed someone to type his document, and I was all around him doing his typing works for him. Every week, Grandpa tries as much as possible to check up on me by text message or call. And when I gave birth to my first child, after some few hours of delivery, Grandpa was at the ward to receive his great-grandson. And those times were very emotional for me to have seen my granddad holding my son, who happens to be his great-grandson.
My grandfather was probably the smartest person I've ever met. I think one of the reasons that we got along so well is his natural curiosity for the world, and that didn't let up, ever. He encouraged me to pursue things that were outside of my comfort zone and to be the best version of myself from a really young age. And there wasn't an event that he could have been to that he wasn't at. He has a picture from my sister's grandparents' day in America from probably over a decade ago. I think that was the last time he went to America, was for that grandparents' day for a random elementary school in Virginia. He always made sure to be there, and he always made sure that we knew who he was past the things he'd accomplished. And I think that's part of what made him a powerhouse. It's just like his level of care that he dedicated not to one specific person, but to everyone, everything he did. And the amount of love he spread across the world.
The magnitude of who he was as a person, his kindness, his caring spirit, his loving spirit. And he took me as a goddaughter, and it's something that people see as just a title, but he actually lived the word goddaughter, especially as he had boys and I was his goddaughter. I became Auntie Charity's daughter. And even now I see her with her smiles, and in all the times that we spent together, it was always fun. When Daddy Kalitsi was around, you knew that there was going to be fun. You knew that he and my dad would be sharing stories about us, our childhood and our adulthood. And he was just such a wonderful and special person to be around.
I think one of the most vivid memories that I have of him was when I was in college. I was going through a really hard time mentally, and he would always call me and pray with me and send me encouraging messages and just let me know that I could do anything that I put my mind to. And even as an adult, he continued to be by my side and be a shoulder to lean on during hard times. So I'm definitely feeling the loss these couple of weeks, but I'm definitely grateful for everything that he has left with me. And whenever I'm feeling down, I always remember the encouraging words that he told me. So really, really gonna miss him.
My grandpa, he was a family man. Shortly after I was born, he decided to split his time between the US and Ghana. So he spent 6 months out of the year in the US living with me, my mom, my sister, and my dad. And he'll spend 6 months out of the year in Ghana. And throughout those 6 months, he'll go see me play my sports. I used to play soccer, and he'll come to every single game. But he'll come in the cold to see me play. And I really appreciate that. Our grandpa also was really invested in my education. Whatever school I would go to, he would come and visit. He even went to parent-teacher conferences to see how I was doing in school and to meet my teachers, which I really appreciate. And my grandpa, he was really on me to play chess. He even taught me how to play chess. And I remember one of my last interactions with him was a chess game where I finally beat him, which was my first time beating him in chess. I was proud of myself too.
I have a lot of great memories of my grandfather. I would say my favorite one would have been this past December. Just talking, sharing memories. He's always asking me how school is going, what things I'm into. He found out that I work at a wine shop, and so every time we would open a bottle, he would have me pick it. He would ask me if I know where it's from. You know, make something up even if I didn't know, just to, you know, make him happy. He's my last grandparent, so gonna miss him, but he'll always be in my heart. Since I've been coming to Ghana when I was a little girl, something I always looked forward to was him waiting at the airport for us to come out. And he always had a big smile on his face, excited to greet us. And he always wanted to make sure everything was perfect. Every time we came, wanted to make sure we were always enjoying ourselves. We would come down in the morning, have breakfast with him, just talk about life and watch shows, listen to music. He always enjoyed listening to music. But it really hit me the last time we were here in December, because he didn't want us to leave. Like, he wanted me to switch my flight to stay longer. And I wish I could have. I was telling him, I was like, Grandpa, I have to get back to school and get back to work. But I could just see on his face that he wanted us to stay. But every memory, every conversation, every adventure that we had together is always in my mind, and I carry it with me as I go on.
It's a privilege for me to be named after him, knowing that I've stepped into the shoes of a big man. When I met my prospective father-in-law, when I mentioned my name, he said, is that Mr. Kalitsi? I said, yes. He said he'd worked with him before, and because of that, I'll marry his daughter. I shouldn't talk too much. His name has virtually opened a lot of doors and opportunities for me. Grandpa's way of life, as I got close to him, his way of life, thinking and philosophy has actually shaped mine in terms of family values, work etiquette, and even how to manage family and finances responsibly. He insisted on visiting me and my family, something his medical team doesn't allow. But then he decided to come and visit me one night, and he came with everybody to the family to visit me.
Papa was also a great father, not just to his own children, but to all of us. Papa was a man you could go to with your problems. He always had time. He would always empathize. He would always sympathize where he had to.
I started working with Mr. Kalitsi in 1999. And then I became his personal chauffeur, personal aide, and all you can think of. Papa became my friend, my father. He gave me opportunity to interact with him at any time. I go to his room, sat by him on bed, have conversation. He called me any time of the day, in the night. Papa is somebody who always open to everybody. He treats everybody equally. He doesn't care who your position or whatever. He doesn't discriminate. I have a good relationship with him. We share food. He will call me, have you eaten? I say, oh, Papa, don't worry. He say, no. Sit down, bring a plate. Either in the house or outside, he makes sure I'll be served. He sees things in people that people don't see. He will call you. I think when you do this, that, it will help you.
Mr. Erasmus Alexander Kobla Kalitsi was a staunch member of the EP Church. I remember traveling with him one time from Ho to Accra. Throughout the journey, he was praying. He had a prayer book he was praying from Ho to Accra. I believe he is someone who knows God.
He mentored dozens quietly and never boasted about it. For him, shaping young minds wasn't charity, it was duty.
Mr. K has been a mentor. He's been also a professional advisor in terms of helping my career, and then as a father figure in my life.
When I completed university, indeed, he was there to help me transition into a working person and would coach me regarding how I should handle my work responsibilities, be responsible, be ethical, and so on and so forth. Uncle Kobla was extremely professional, hardworking, and took a personal interest in the development of all of us young people. Schools of choice, job options, and so on and so forth, such that he actually followed me to the US, meaning he came to visit me in San Diego when I was working with Hewlett Packard. In fact, he helped me make that selection, whether I had to, choose between Hewlett Packard or a couple of other companies. And indeed, he followed up to come and make sure I was well settled.
He liked both young and old, because you can see that he's always been surrounded by young people, and they'll be discussing anything from politics to family affairs.
Mr. Kalitsi is a mentor. If he takes anybody, he wants to mentor you to replicate himself. So when we came to ECG, he said, look, set your own standard and pursue it. And your standard should be very high. So through this, he was taking me through a certain training. And he said, look, you've been to school, to university, you've learned a lot. But what I'm going to teach you, you won't find them in books. I've been through life, and I'll tell you things to do.
He was the kind of person who loved young people. He loved young people, and that kept him, I think, very sharp, even as he was growing older, because he would always engage with young people.
Quite often, when we recollect him sitting and reading with the kids, my daughter is very fond of reading because she spends quite a lot of time with him reading, and she has been so motivated by him that she's even ended up today in his alma mater in Harvard in USA.
So he spoke French for a long time in his life, and because of that I got a French degree, just because it made me feel more alike to him.
He would always tell you to be very candid and transparent, and we learned some of those characteristics from him. So some of us, our life in VRE, there was no way you can corrupt us because we were learning from him. Let your yes be yes, let your no be no.
He would give advice on any situation, help you move forward, counsel younger members, tell you how to go about making society better. And his warmth and friendship always shone through. A lovely smile of his and a cackle from time to time. We will fondly remember him, and we will miss those words of advice he'd give us in person and on the phone.
He was very engaging. He was, he could come down to you, and you can imagine just a ordinary national service person going up to the 10th floor and having meetings with all of these executives and him listening to you very attentively, that sort of thing.
Since I got to know him, I realized this man has been very caring, very down to earth. Despite the age difference, we sit down and converse like equals.
Despite his vast knowledge, experience, his stature in society, treated me almost as an equal, in our conversations. Never would he patronize you, always pushing back, always challenging you to rethink a position, but never wanting to win the argument, just trying to shift you to see things from a different perspective.
I've been his nurse, and I've been working with him, and I got to know him not just as a patient, but also as a person, or in person. Amber has been very good, and he's so kind and he cherishes everybody who comes around. There are so many memories that I've shared with him. The recent one that I could remember is traveling, making a trip to Qatar and others. And then I could not forget the generosity and the kindness he shows. At times when people are there, he will tell me in Ewe that the next day when you can remind me so that I'll give you something small. And then we all laugh. And then he also keep on telling me a lot about himself and all that he has gone through in life. And through that, I got to learn a lot from him. It was truly an honor for caring for him, not just as a nurse, because he taught me a lot, and I've got to know that there are so many things that I need to learn and I have not reached anywhere.
He had a common touch. He did not patronize us. He was not condescending towards us, notwithstanding his huge achievements. He spoke to us as men, and we really appreciated that. His humor, his camaraderie, and his general good fellowship as a member of the club.
He's able to relate with kids and with adults as well. So we had that very friendly relationship with him, and he was, even as kids, he was easily approachable.
He loved once and lost once. Charity EAK Kalitsi, radiant, sharp, full of laughter. When she passed, part of him went silent.
He got married to my aunt, my mother's cousin. He was a very hard-working man, and my aunt was very supportive. So she was more or less in charge of the boys. They had 3 boys. She was in charge of the boys. So they lived a very peaceful life. Though he would be in the office for hours, she didn't mind at all. She would be there, look after the children, until wait for him to come and have his dinner before they all go to bed.
Mr. Kalitsi is always very busy. He will not close early. Sometimes he will bring the wife. The wife will be in the car, so I'm going to he's a very busy man. But they were very nice. They were very fun, very, very good couple. Unfortunately, she died in an accident. Yes, when she was going to visit her son at Akosombo Secondary School.
In fact, I was in the hospital with the wife because I was always there from morning to evening. I come home very early in the morning. I'll go back, see how she was, And one fine day I went and I saw that she wasn't doing too well. Within a few minutes, she was gone. In fact, I was very devastated and very upset. He wasn't around when she died. So when he was called, he came immediately from Jamaica. I went to meet him at the airport and can see that he was very devastated.
Years later, Cecilia entered his life, kind, thoughtful, and shaken. They built a quiet companionship full of respect, grace, and loyalty. It was different, not lesser, just gentler.
We met in one of his cousin's house in early November 1996 for lunch. During that meeting, we chatted at length, and then he brought me home in the evening. A few days later, I went back to Tamale because that was my duty post. I was working with the Catholic Relief Services. But we kept communicating with each other, and from time to time I come down for weekends or holidays. And that was how the relationship progressed till mid-1999 when I returned to Accra. And then we were together for a number of years, but we regularized the marriage in 2005. So altogether we've been together for 26 years. Mid-June this year was exactly 26 years. Living with him was not a difficult life. I was a very busy person. When I came back from Tamale, I was working with the regulatory body of the Nursing and Midwifery Council, and I used to trek a lot. Occasionally he would grumble, but he himself had been a very busy person, so he understood me. It's just that I came at the tail end of his practice or his active life.
And then came Kweku's death. The wound was different, deep, raw, unfinished. Kweku was his twin in soul, his co-author, his shadow. After that, the writing stopped.
I know he felt it, but he's not somebody who built, he can overcome such grief, you know, and he's a very religious person with great trust in the Almighty God, and so he took it as a strong, faithful, and God-loving man. Yes.
Everything reminds me of him. Every time I come to Ghana, it reminds me of him and my dad. And he reminded me of my dad too. So I don't know, it feels like that was the last part that I had. But I'll always be coming back to Ghana because he was always happy when we came. Him and my dad always wanted us to, you know, continue to come back, stay connected to family. So that's what I plan to do.
Papa was a real colossus of a man. He was an icon. He was greatness epitomized. In every aspect of his life, Papa excelled.
He was warm, he was loving, he was wise, he was engaging, he was interesting, and he was interested in us and what we were doing. Always our cheerleader.
There are places where we go, interestingly enough, where if they hear the name Kalitsi, they treat us so nicely. They receive us warmly because they'll tell you that he brought light to their village or to the town. Patriotism, selfless devotion to your community, and the determination to better the lives of your people. He is of a generation that could very well have gone out to make some good money for themselves, but he came down. He was right at the inception of most of the energy projects. That's quite a legacy of a statesman.
And much as we are sad to have lost him, Papa has run his race exceptionally well. If patriots are being ranked in Ghana, Papa must definitely be in the Premier League for what he achieved. And we just say, bon voyage at this time. Go to your maker peacefully, Papa. You have done your bit. You have inspired all of us. And generations unborn will learn of your legacy and of your great achievements. Rest in peace, Erasmus Alexander Kobla Kalitsi.
But in the end, Erasmus EAK Kalitsi's greatest legacy may be something simpler: his name, his integrity, his quiet way. Rest well, Efo. You did your part. The lights you turned on are still burning.
I think it's very hard to imagine that I can't just walk into this house like I used to almost every week, sit out there, right? Sometimes in the bedroom, but sometimes in the corridor outside the bedroom with a glass of wine and having a conversation with Uncle Kobla. Really is hard for me to imagine. I know that God granted him a long life. I mean, 95 is something that most people don't attain in life. Uncle Kobla, rest in peace.
We'll miss you dearly, Mr. Kalitsi. Rest in perfect peace.
And this one is a really big tree that has fallen. Well, he'll be missed. Mr. Kalitsi, we thank you for your company over the years.
Thank you for everything, Grandpa. I really, truly am blessed to be called your granddaughter, and it was an honor and a privilege to have known you.
Uncle Kobla, I am very grateful that you were part of my life, right from my childhood to where I am today. We thank the Almighty for helping you to do all that you've been able to achieve for this country. We also promise that we will emulate your example, try to be selfless, and to do the best we can to build this country so that your vision that you had for Ghana to be developed will be achieved. The family says, head and way, God be with you.
I can't say goodbye. I mean, he's always going to be with us. I think he's always going to be around in all the things that we've done with you, all the things that you've done for us, all the things, your wisdom, your direction. I mean, it cannot be a goodbye. It's just going to be, yes, you're not here, but we'll think about you all the time. When we're taking major decisions, we'll think about what is it that you would want us to do? How do you think we should do it? And that sort of thing. So, I mean, it's never going to be a goodbye. I don't think so.
Hey, Grandpa, I'm really gonna miss you. It is very weird not having you around, but I still feel you in my heart and all around me, and I see you in my family members, so in my mind, you are not really gone. You are just in a place that we cannot see. So I hope you're resting well, and I love you.
Grandpa, I love you. I know you love me.
I know you're looking down at me. You came in as like a second father figure after my father passed. You would call me all the time to make sure I was doing well, to make sure I was doing fine, to ask me about college. You even used to say that you're still going to try to come to America, which I knew deeply down inside that you weren't able to come. I really appreciate that. I know you're reunited with my father, so you have one of your sons up there, so he could look after you while you're at heaven and teach you the ways. And I guess this is my final goodbye. I really appreciate you, and I hope to join you one day.
So I will miss him. I will miss his wisdom, because he speaks, I don't know what, I'll miss him. May his soul rest in perfect peace.
All that I can say is that God bless him, and wherever he is now, he should rest peacefully, knowing that he's made an impact in my life, from which I'm also going to impact others. May his soul rest in peace. In Jesus' name, amen.
This isn't goodbye, but I will see you soon, Grandpa. I love you.
He will be missed, and those of us that we had the privilege of learning under his feet, we hope that we will emulate his footsteps and to help VRA to become a better organization going forward. We wish him the best in his journey to his Maker, and may he rest in peace from now and forevermore.
I'm happy to know him and very grateful, and I always remain grateful and loyal to him. Papa forever remain in my heart. Papa, I love you. Wherever you are, may your soul rest in perfect peace.
Goodbye, Grandpa. I love you so much, and thank you for being in my life for all these years, and I will cherish your memory forever and ever.
Until we meet again, I just hope he is in heaven, and we'll all see him again one day.
So rest in peace, Daddy. We love you, and I can't wait to see you again.
Uncle Kobla, you have really left a void in our lives. Me, the girls, we're gonna miss you, but you did very well. You fought a good fight, and definitely you've left a legacy. We all have a piece of you in our hearts. Goodbye, old boy. Au revoir. Bisous.
Grandpa, thank you so much wherever you are for who you have made me to be today. God bless you, and may your soul rest in peace.
Grandpa, I love you very much, and I'm gonna miss the time that we get to spend together, the times that I come to your study and just sit in silence and watch TV with you. You're forever gonna be one of my heroes, and I love you very deeply. And you've lived a great life, and I'm grateful for the life you lived because it allowed me to flourish in your legacy. So thank you, and I love you.
I know he's resting in perfect peace. I know he's in heaven. I know he's in a good place because he has earned his angel's wings. So I'll say, Daddy Kobla, rest in peace until we meet again. We have really lost an uncle, but we thank God for everything, because it is the Lord who gave, and it's the Lord who decided to take him away in his own good time. What else can we say? Father, we give you thanks and glory to God.
His legacy will continue to live on. We are grateful that we found ourselves in his corner, and we will continue to fight for whatever he has fought for and whatever he builds.
Mr. Kalitsi, as I always called you, now that you are no more, I'm very sad though, but you were very sick. So anytime I came there, we wouldn't talk plenty. The things are in your head. You be a fan, you to me. So you we it's your than you. Okay, me I can know namine. Oba wojugba. Lele. Da wojugba. Ura don. Okay, mi sojugba. Okay, mbi ye sojugba. Na bi ye kame jugba. Oba sla wo ye bi. Okay, wo ye jugba. Ura don. Wo jugba.
May his soul rest in perfect peace.
Efukabla, we shall miss you. We shall miss you terribly. And we wish you a very peaceful, eternal rest, which you very much deserve in the bosom of our Maker.
We shall meet by and by. We shall meet on that beautiful shore. We shall meet by and by. We shall meet on that beautiful shore.